everybody. How are you this evening? This is Dr. Val. How are you guys this evening? Everyone excited to be here with us?
Very
We
much.
are Brown Sugar Confessions, coming to you every single Wednesday night on Power 1017. And don't forget, if you missed that episode live, you could always catch us on YouTube at Brown Sugar Confessions. Listen, y'all, there's a lot that's happened in the last week, and I'm ready just to jump right into it. I'm not even going to fudge around with it. We're just going to do this. So let's bring up and talk to our amazing co-host tonight. And you'll notice that we have a special co-host, so I'm super, super excited. So first, let's bring up the beautiful and phenomenal Miss KD. How are you, love? What's going on?
Hey, I'm absolutely fabulous. Happy to be here. Not too much to talk about, but I look forward to tonight's show.
And girl, this show is going to be really hot. I'm ready for it. Who's ready?
Ready.
Ready, yes.
Always ready for something hot.
Exactly. And speaking of hot, we have brought back with us the amazing, beautiful Cece from California. Cece, welcome back to Brown Sugar Confessions. How are you?
Thank you for having me, ladies. I'm wonderful. I'm so happy to be here.
And we're happy to
It's
have
nice
you
and
back.
hot in California.
Would you
How's the weather out where you
rubbing
guys
it
are?
in, Cece? Just
jealous. I'm jealous.
Yeah,
Yes.
I always like to rub it.
I mean, know you like to rub it. And we have with us tonight, we've missed her for 2 weeks, is Teresa's back. Hey, baby girl, what's up?
Hi, everybody. I am doing great. I am visiting California this week. I'm out here at Dance Church with Amy Sigil. We're about to get our work on Sunday, do some healing. It's really nice out here. I'm not going to lie, I missed California. I used to live here back in the early 2000s, and then I moved to Texas. And now that I'm here, I'm like, I think I want to come back. So.
Oh, that's exciting, girl. I
Well,
can't wait
it's
to
always
hear about
here
what's
for
going
a
on.
visit, right? It's always here for a
That
visit.
would be a lot of fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's
And hey,
what I'm
guys, that's what we're
thinking.
missing tonight. Huh, baby girl? We are missing tonight our beautiful Jenny C, who's in California as well, working on her comedy show. We love you, Jenny C. We want to have those tickets, girl. I think she's going to have some links to those tickets. And who else are we missing tonight? In Atlanta, no other than our beautiful, phenomenal co-host. And girl, what's going on in Atlanta? I think she's going to a funeral or something like that. We miss you, love.
Yeah, we miss her. She's
her.
unavailable due to having to attend a funeral, but she will see us, I guess, next week. We love you and miss you
so much. All right. So, guys, tonight we have so much to talk about. But first, I have to stop and thank everyone for listening to the show. Thank you so much for listening. I'm getting so many emails, and thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel, Brown Sugar Confessions. And always remember that if you want to email us, don't hesitate to do it at brownsugarconfessions@gmail.com. And of course, I am Dr. Val, your clinical sexologist, your residential, sexual scientist and researcher. So if you have any sexual issues out there, relationship problems, and you want someone to talk to, because you're one of our loyal listeners, there's a perk you get. You get a half an hour consultation. All you got to do is email me at Valerie@Swan Center. We'll have the links below. And you will get your half an hour consultation with me. And because we know we really appreciate you taking the time to listen. You have so many options, and that you're here with us just makes it so special. So, Treese girl, what is going on? I know you got some hot topics that you haven't been here in 2 weeks. What's going on?
We're going to get into it. So my hot topic is we're going to talk about R. Kelly being found guilty this last week of, I believe it was bribery and child sexual exploitation, along with racketeering and some interstate traveling with children with malintent. These are the cases that he was just found guilty of, but there are more cases where he is going on for child pornography and a couple of other things. So those will come at a later date. I know sentencing for this one, this topic right here is going to be in May of 2022. So he got some time.
He's got some time.
So he's been found guilty of all but 2 of the racketeering charges and all of the child predatory charges that he was going up against. For me, as I heard the verdict, I was super happy and glad. But at the same time, I wasn't, because I feel like a lot of the people that made this happen should be going to jail just as much as he's going to jail. I think some of the mothers were negligent in their care for their children, and they should be brought up on charges. I think anybody that we knew what R. Kelly has been doing for a very long time. Let's not pretend. And it's just now coming out that he got married to the singer Aaliyah. To have her get an abortion because she was pregnant. And are we going to really sit here and say nobody knew what was going on? Even Aaliyah's uncle said, I believe more people knew what was going on, but nobody wants to take responsibility for it. For me, this has been, as someone who has dealt with child sexual abuse, this has been a good verdict, like to watch this happen, because how many times have we seen this happen and the person get off? But this has been great to see. I'm really glad at watching some of the responses that I'm seeing. I don't care for Bill Cosby and his words where he said R. Kelly got railroaded. Bill Cosby can kick rocks with his Jell-O popsicles. And some people, I know right now, some people are saying that you can separate the man from the artist. And I'm not one of those people. Your art doesn't make you a magical unicorn. It doesn't forgive your sins. You used your art, you used your fame to be predatory. You don't separate them. That's one thing. That's one thing that led to the other, that led to the other, that led to the other. You don't get to now withdraw the responsibility that you had. I think for me, R. Kelly will never be played in my house again. He'll never be played on my radio. If I throw any more barbecues, you won't be two-stepping to nothing. And we can do the cha-cha slide. I like the cha-cha slide.
We can do the cha-cha slide
later. But that's it. There is no separating the man from the art, because if we start doing that, then we have to go back in history and separate the man from the art. And what I'm going to say is, are you going to separate Hitler from his little clown art that he did?
That's true. Katie, what do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting because to a certain degree, I'll be honest, I don't like R. Kelly's music anymore. So in my home, R. Kelly's not played. However, the whole separating the art from the music thing, or the art from the artist, I don't get mad at people who choose to just play him. I don't care. I don't like his music because to me, most of his songs still relate back to what he was doing. And I can hear it, I can feel it. It makes me uncomfortable. So I'm not giving it play for that reason, not specifically because I want to make sure my money's not going to him, but because there's other things that he's created that I'm not going to stop listening to. He's written for other artists. I'm not going through his entire catalog to figure out which songs I'm not listening to. I don't have time for that. But I don't want to hear his voice on a personal level. Other people who choose to, I'm not going to condemn them for it. But I'm not really going to sit around and listen, and I'm not cha-cha sliding to his stuff because it's just not interesting to me. But I think that when it comes to separating the art from the people, I think most artists are garbage. I'm gonna be honest. I think 90% of them are legitimately garbage. It's probably a few rare amount of them that hasn't taken advantage and abused their power and their fame, especially when it comes to men. So if we start if we start creating an environment where we are legitimately not listening to music because for a person that's done awful things, and we're going to cancel every song and every TV show, we won't have anything to watch or listen to. So I don't get too heavy into trying to focus on that, but just on a personal level, just with his stuff, because of how directly related his music was to his behavior, I am personally not listening to it.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not listening to it either. I don't personally believe that you can separate the man from his music, from his art, because as you've mentioned, some of those songs correlate to the actual abuse that he was committing to these various victims. And so when you're listening, that was his mindset back at that time. So for many people, it's triggering. It's unfortunate because he's a master at music and talent. You have to give it to him. The man is a beautiful singer, beautiful songwriter. And it's unfortunate that he chose to go this route to ruin his career and his life, basically, behind some BS like this. It's just so disappointing because the man had a beautiful voice. You can't take that away from him. But I'm going to get back to something that Tree said earlier, is that the parents of these young women, these teenagers, where were they? Do we honestly, in the world of parenting, do we forget that even though they're a superstar or they're a star, that they are not God? And that you just cannot leave your kid with any and everyone like this, especially a young girl that's growing up? And I hear there was, Trees, wasn't there something about a young boy as well? Wasn't there something about that?
There was an article or several articles, probably about a week and a half ago, where a young man came out and said R. Kelly, he accused him of allegedly doing sexual acts against him, being predatory against him at a very young age. So it doesn't, and I understand where you're saying, like, where are the parents? And I also think that the parents were also, what do you call it? It's like blinded by star power, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to be in, and let's be honest about this. A lot of people would sell their soul to get next to somebody like that for a chance. And if you'll sell your soul, you'll sell your child. That's as easy as it is. And being in this music industry, being in Hollywood, it is so easy to get ate up and swallowed up, and then have stars just like pay you off. I mean, let's be honest about it. People are so cool with R. Kelly doing what they're doing. Let's give an example. Drake just gave R. Kelly a songwriting credit on his Lover Boy. Why do you think that is? So he have money on his books.
Really? Wow. That's something.
But Drake is a known groomer too. So let's not lie about that. Drake is a known groomer. He's done it to, what's the young lady's name? Millie Bobby Brown, when she was 15, openly talking about Drake writes me all the time, and we have conversations about boys. Why is a grown man talking to a young 15-year-old girl like that?
Yeah. I think I think in our culture now, we forget that our children need to be protected, especially if they're going into the arts, whether it's music or dance. I still, I mentor many people. And if I mentor a younger person, I want the parent's child around. I want the parents around me with the child, just because I think it's just the right thing to be. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm alone with this child for many, many hours. And I think that maybe parents forget that you have the right to say, you know what, I'm not going to leave my child here for the weekend so you can do an album with her.
They
Or
don't forget.
they just choose to, you think, KD?
Absolutely. And let's be honest. First off, we're talking about culture. You just mentioned culture. I feel like for a lot of people, it's part of the culture that if a 15-year-old is in a position that, as long as they're not getting pregnant and ending up on welfare, they don't care. That's that. So they if the person's rich, all of the statutory rate limits and stuff like that goes out the window. It doesn't matter anymore because they're not concerned legitimately about that stuff. They're just concerned about not her not ending up on welfare. So if it's someone who they see as someone as an opportunity, something that will get them fame and get them money, then they're willing to put all that, it's an older person aside.
I don't know. That's fascinating. I don't know about that one. What about you, CC? Do you got any thoughts on this with the R. Kelly situation?
Well, I'm a mother of 6. I have 3 daughters and 3 sons, and I have 3, daughters that are growing and dating and have been exposed to people that are influential and desirable to the public, whether it be, a couple movie stars that we know or people in the music industry. And I can honestly say it has never left my mind that they are possibly could be put in a situation where they could be victims of something inappropriate, even language.
Right.
And, it's, you need to let young adults figure out how to navigate these situations because they're going to come up. And if they don't have the tools to navigate them, it can be really traumatic and they can feel pressured into doing something they absolutely don't want to do or are prepared to do. And the knowledge that women or men, but in this case, I believe it was mostly the mothers, allowing their babies, like, you don't stop being a mommy because your kid is old enough to have sex. Like, your responsibility as a mother doesn't end because your child is sexually active or old enough to be sexually active. You're still responsible for helping guide them through the world. That never ends.
That's so true.
I mean, as a parent, that's your job. That's what you signed up for when you had a child. So to expose your child to something for monetary gain is horrific and disgusting. And I completely agree that those women or men or anybody, even the other enablers in his life, should be tried and held accountable. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it wasn't, I mean, there was a tribe around R. Kelly. He wasn't not just doing this by himself.
No,
and is the tribe,
so many people.
right. So is the tribe also, have they been indicted? Will they be? I guess we'll find out. But I don't think we're hearing the end of this saga with R. Kelly and his tribe. I think, we're maybe in the middle, but I don't think we're at the end yet. I think more stuff is going to start popping out as we continue this whole saga with R. Kelly. It has just been, I mean, in the community, it's just been, because his music is, it's my era. I'm all about R. Kelly's music. And I'm like, Dad, I cannot play that at the barbecue no more. R. Kelly, you done screwed up, buddy. So I'm kind of sad about it. This whole thing is just sad. It's just sad.
I have one more thing to say about this.
What?
It's fascinating to me. And I'm holding myself accountable for this. I'll never forget 2000, 2002, 2001, 2002, when the first thing, the heavy thing, the big thing that came out with that video, and everyone made jokes about it. Like they made songs. There were songs, they turned his songs into songs about peeing and golden showers and stuff like that.
Oh, that I was about to say, which video? The golden shower video. Yes.
Yes, the golden shower. And there were multiple, but that was the main one that became popular. People shared this around. That was child pornography. People shared the video around. This
Mhm.
was made a joke within our community. A joke. It was a huge joke.
Mhm.
And no one stopped listening to his music. And at that time, it was almost as if he was thumbing his nose at us because he kept making songs that really alluded to what he was doing, which is why for me now, I can't personally listen to his music because I feel like there was a whole era where all of his music was about kind of that situation without specifically saying it.
Right.
And a lot of people, they had nothing to say about it other than, oh yeah, he's gross, and then just keep playing his music and just keep going on. And if anything, I never forget, and that's one of the things that held very heavy in my brain, was the fact that that little girl in that situation was the main person blamed for everything.
And so, this takes us into the conversation, though, about the hypersexualization around Black girls. Because let's be honest, we're talking about, an African American community, the Black community, and there seems to be an insensitivity, around a young Black female, a young child, a little girl, a young child, basically, that was sexualized, was groomed. When that video came out, no one put R. Kelly in jail that week, years later. How many decades, right? 10 years, whatever it was later. And there's always this perception, and we're going to go there for a second, about the hypersexualization of young Black girls. And it is something that is not talked about. It is something that needs to be talked about because of hypersexualization. This is why when a young Black girl goes missing, a teenager, you don't hear the hype. Well, maybe she was fast. She was in the wrong part of town. She was doing this. She was doing that. There's always an excuse. And it's usually something around the sexual presence of this young Black female, this young Black child. And and there's adultification of young Black women as well. And not only young Black girls, but also of people of color. Let me just throw it out there. You have our Native Americans, you have our Latinx community. It is something within being a person of color that allows or there's an underpinning of hypersexualization around our young minority children. And we really need, as parents, to stop hushing that up, right? We got to stop that. We need to protect our children, and we must be a community or a tribe to protect other people's communities. We stopped doing that. Back in the day, if I acted up, Aunt Joyce would hit me upside my head, and my mama then would hit me upside the head because Aunt Joyce hit me upside the head. It was that kind of community, and we've gotten so far away from that. So I really think that we're going to talk in a later conversation about the hypersexualization around, young females, males and females of color, and have that conversation that you can only get right here on Power 101. It's deep today, y'all. It is deep. It's heavy. I need a drink. I don't drink, but I need something to calm myself down.
You have a drink.
Yeah, I got myself all worked up.
So I know we're going to go to the opposite side of this when we come back from break, but I want to know something about some spiritual awakening, sex. I want to know all the good stuff.
All right. Oh yes, I think that's a good segue because that was heavy, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. We don't want you guys to go anywhere because last week we talked about Tantric. We're going to continue Tantric. We're going to how Tantric can be used to heal even sexual abuse trauma. It can be used to heal infidelity. It can be used as a tool to just regenerate. And it's just amazing. So don't you go anywhere. Make sure that you stay right here on Power 1017 because we're Brown Sugar Confessions, and we will see you in a minute.
make sure you continue to like, share, and follow us on Brown Sugar Confessions on our YouTube and our Patreon. If you have any questions for our doctor here, make sure you send them to Valerie@swancenter.com. Please be sure to email us at brownsugarconfessions@gmail.com if you have anything you want to share with the show. And once more, you can only hear us right here on Power 1017. So I want to invite everyone to take this test that I was invited to take this week. It was so very interesting. So it's a test that people can take to determine their sexual compatibility for their partners. And I decided to take one with my husband. It is a BDSM test. And if you would like to take this, you can find this on bdsmtest.org. I took this test and found out some really interesting information. So for myself, I found out that number one, I'm a voyeur. Like,
A
who would have
voyeur?
guessed?
I would have guessed that for you. Oh, voyeur. Okay.
I'm a voyeur, and I've had a few voyeuristic experiences in my life, but it has not been recently. Very long time ago. But I found out that my husband also is. I'm like, we might have to explore some things with this because apparently we both like this, and neither one of us has ever had a very voyeuristic experience.
Okay.
One of the other things is I'm submissive. And I'm not a dom at all. Like dom is like almost at the very tippity bottom for me. So I just realized that that could actually be one of the reasonings why I found myself in sexual stalemates, because I like to wait. And I know that I like to wait for the other person to make the move. I like to pretend even like, I'm not interested. Oh, so I think one of the reasons why it's funny, because a lot of people don't consider themselves as someone who's, into BDSM. I'm not. I really have never been into any of that stuff. But I think this kind of answered a lot of questions for me and how I behave when it comes to sexual relations. So I highly recommend it. Does anyone else here know what kind of sexual deviant there are? I'm really curious how everyone else sees themselves.
Look at Treese got her hand up. Look, she know. What are you, girl? Come on.
I'm a brat.
Yes, you are. As a dom speaking, you are definitely a brat.
I am. When I took it and it said it, I was like, no. But then I really thought about who I naturally am. I'm a brat. I've always been a brat. I can deny it if I want to, but the brattiness comes out anyway. So, yeah. Hi.
Yes, you're a brat. So are you a sub? Did the deviant test say you were a sub?
Yes, it said I was a submit. Well, it said I was a switch.
Okay.
But I was mainly submissive, and but for me to be submissive, I really have to be with the correct person, because I'll start topping you from the bottom.
Oh, I know at Radio Land, you're all like, what? How many of y'all really are like, what? What are they speaking some kind of code language? We're going to talk about BDSM. We might talk about it next week since we're bringing it up. My test revealed that I'm a dom. I'm not surprised. I don't think anyone that knows me is surprised that I'm a dom. And I live that dom life. What about you, CC? What did your test show?
I'm a submissive.
You're submissive.
But
So
I haven't finished the test, but I know I'm a submissive.
Listen, it is like Christmas for me right now. I got 3
This is your Christmas present, Dr. Dom.
It is my Christmas.
Your early Christmas present.
Y'all should see me back here just switching around and moving. I'm like, Merry Christmas to me. I got 3 subs in one row. I'm going to have a lot of fun. Don't talk about me. Don't judge me. I don't care if you do. It be what it be. But, oh, wow, that's funny. So, we're going to have to link up so that you can look at Katie's, this test that she found to see what kind of sexual deviant are you. I don't like the word deviant, though. I don't like that word, right?
Well, negative. for me.
It's kind of negative, right?
It feels negative, like something that is inappropriate.
Dirty. Yeah, that's it, Cece. It does. The word deviant, personally, I don't like, but that's just me. Yeah, it makes me feel kind of like, dirty and a deviant, inappropriate. That's
Maybe
perfect.
if we said it different, like said it kind of like, ooh, deviant.
So we have to like make it like a deviant with we're squishing our lips together, like deviant, like Marilyn Monroe. Deviant. Doesn't sound so, make it sound really nasty.
Nasty,
Yeah.
deviant. I'm a deviant.
Well, it's not our test, so go take the test before next week. Because I think we should go into talking about BDSM next week. I think that would be fun. And really, we might even have like 2 or 3 different like weekly talks about it, because there's so much about BDSM and how to play it, what it is, what it ain't. And so send your emails into us at brownsugarconfessions@gmail.com. We're going to have the link up. Katie's going to put it up. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you go ahead and write it down and take the test. KD, one more time, tell everybody what the test is, how to reach the test.
The test is bdsmtest.org.
bdsmtest.org. So go check it out. Tell them Brown Sugar sent you this way. And we're going to jump right back into our topic tonight, which is Tantric. And we're finishing up from last week. And I think because we got so many emails around Tantric and how to play it and what Tantric is, I think now is a really good time for us to really explore what Tantric isn't. All right. First of all, Tantric is not Sting having sex for 4 hours. It's not. I get so many people because they know about Sting that, the artist, and when he came out back in the 80s, that he was a Tantric practitioner, that, he would go for 4 hours. And some men were like, and ladies, because honestly, 4 hours, no, I guess I got hot girl stuff to do. And so, no, that's not going to happen. But so many people think, yeah, it's tiring. So many people think that it's about, having penetrative sex for 4 hours or, in that mode for 4 hours. And it's really not about the time limit. It's really about the experience and how to breathe together, how to connect together. Because here's what my thought, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm weird and I admit it. I kind of, because I do a lot of sexual research, maybe my mind kind of goes kind of caca or crazy every now and then. But for me, sex in itself is great. Okay, the humping, the grinding, it's good, right? But if you've been doing it for so long, isn't there something else missing sometime, like a real connection? Is that just me? Maybe I'm just, what, y'all shaking your heads, yes or no? Somebody talk to me, tell me, because maybe
Definitely that's needed. I would say definitely for me. I totally agree.
What about you, Trace?
I 100% believe that something else is needed. If it's just a physical, you're not going to get me on the emotional level where I'm even going to care if you ate that day. Like, you show up for your appointment and then you leave. So if you want something more from me, you have to invest.
Girl, you always somebody investing in you. I want somebody to invest in Doc Val up over here. Katie, what about you?
I would love to, in my brain, you say that, I'm like, yeah, you got to have spiritual connections and we need more. And I think about it for myself. And I am one of them people that can basically hump anything and not care 5 minutes later. So I think that it's probably nice to have a good connection with someone on a sexual side, but when I think about my sexual deviance, I'm probably not the kind of person that gives a darn too much about that spiritual connection, but I can see the need. I can see it benefiting, but I probably am not having a lot of spiritual sex right now. I'll be honest.
Yes, be honest. But, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I do think, Katie, that you've hit the nail on the head with something. not everyone needs to have that spiritual connection. And it has to be okay to say, it's just not who I am. I like one night stands. I like rough and tumble. I like, just getting it in hard, fast, deep, bam, bam, over, whatever, and not going deep with the emotionality around sex. So I'm glad that you actually said that and mentioned that. Anybody else feel that way? Because that's not me. I've always been the kind of person that, one person, and I have to feel something in order to engage in physical activity. And I'm a spiritual person at heart. That is who I am, my heart center. And when I discovered Tantric, I just found that just opened me up in so many levels of spirituality. And I was able to transcend that in my sex with my husband. And it was just mind blowing. It was healing. And it was connecting at the same time. We're got married, in our mid-50s, and it was really a connecting that I just absolutely would advise people. If you're in a situation where maybe you're in a rut relationship and not sure what to try, look up a daikini, a tantric specialist that can help guide you into how to go about doing that art form. And I say it's an art because it is. Like I mentioned last week, it takes a couple of hours, not the penetrative side of it, but just getting into the whole mood of it, because there's a ritual of dance. I like that word. It's the ritual of sex. That's what it is, I think. I am very ritualistic. And I think the rituals that goes into tantric play is what is a big turn on for me. Using the big ostrich feathers and the certain kinds of oils and the singing bowls. If you got one, you can put it on your partner's stomach and then play the singing bowl. You can put it on the vulva. You can have so much fun with this, but it's just so, so connecting. So Therese, what about you and spiritual sex? Is that something that you thought about, have played with? I mean, I want to know, because you weren't here last week. So
I
confess.
I have been playing with it. I will admit, when I was younger, I was just having sex to have sex, right?
Mm,
Didn't know that there was anything more to it. I just knew that, oh, I get this urge and like let's get it done.
right.
But as I've gotten older and I have started to heal myself, I came across spiritual sex, tantric sex, all of that stuff. And I was in a place and in a relationship with people that I trusted, and I could explore that safely, because
Mm-hmm.
you can't really have tantric sex with somebody that you don't trust, because
Mm,
you're
yeah.
always going to be guarded, right? You're always going to
Mm-hmm.
be like, no, I have to be able to completely be in my most aligned, which is where my divine masculine and divine feminine are like, hey, we're happy and we're here. If one of those is cut off, it's not going to work for me. But my example is, in the last few weeks, we've had a very stressful situation at my house. It was bananas for about 2.5 weeks. Um, there was no touching. It was all just getting through this process, this journey. So it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like we were on autopilot. You wake up, you look around, world's not on fire, let's go. Um, in that, you lose connection, right? But we spent some time together, and Doc Val suggested that we have ourselves some spiritual sex, and we set aside, I like to call it garbage time. I don't want to call it like, oh, let's set aside just special time for us, because then it becomes allotted. I wanted garbage time with this person where we could do whatever we wanted and it didn't matter. And we had spiritual sex. And I'm telling you, that reconnection was perfect. One, he slept like a baby afterwards.
Oh,
Two,
you're welcome.
two, I was able to release so much stress in that one thing. Tears came, body
Mm,
shook, went to sleep, woke up the next morning and felt like I always do. No stress, just like, oh, all right, we got to do this. All right, let's get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Something to having that connection with everybody. Now, do I have tantric sex all the time? Hell no, I don't got time for all that.
Mhm. Yeah, it is a lot, right? It's all right. You're not going to have it all the time.
It is a lot. And I'm going to tell you right now that singing bowl on your lotus is
Mhm.
magic. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. But make time for yourself. Make time for the person that you're with. Um, and it's worth it if you put the effort into it. It's worth it. Do I do it all the time? Absolutely not. Sometimes I need that brown chicken, brown cow. And
I ain't heard that in years.
I've never heard that, but I know what it is. I've never even heard it before.
I just sometimes I need that, and sometimes I need more, and I'm okay with that kind of alignment. It doesn't always have to be, oh, worship me. No, it's like, hey, dinner is done in 15 minutes, and I want my lasagna hot, so let's get on it.
Let's get on it. I love it. I love it. Also, I think, speaking of tantric, is that we mentioned this 2 weeks ago, is that for men that have smaller eggplants, tantric is a great discipline to understand and follow. There are so many different ways that you can please your partner if you don't have a larger eggplant by using the practice of Tantra. So I want you guys to go into Patreon, because I'm actually going to go into some deep details about how to begin a tantric practice. And you can only get it if you go into Patreon at Brown Sugar Confessions, so that you're going to have a really deep, profound experience with me. I'm going to do it guided, actually, a guided session. I did it before, and the things I taught, well, the girls still talk about it, because I did some stuff with some people. It was hot. So you don't want to miss it when I do it again. And it's only using my voice and guiding the couple. All sexual genders are welcome. Everyone's good. So make sure you check it out at Brown Sugar Confessions. And I think Cece has a hot topic I want to talk about. I'm so excited for this one. Girl, what is it? Tell us.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw that post on Facebook about the big age gap couple. The gentleman is much younger than the woman.
Mm-hmm.
She, I think it's like, I don't know, what is it, Valerie, 40 years or something like that?
Right. Yeah. It's like he is 26 and she is 64.
Right.
It's a huge difference in age.
That's like, I mean, my eldest son is 25, and I can honestly say that if he was dating a woman older than me, I would not be comfortable with that.
Really?
That would be nasty for me.
Huh, nasty. Okay. All right. So let me set up the scene for what Cece's talking about. On TikTok, there is this young Black male who has recently married his older white female girlfriend. It's now his wife. I think 2 weeks ago they got married. And she is 60 something or 64, something like that. He's in his early 20s. And she looks like her age. And there was a lot, huh?
She's a petite woman.
She's very tiny. And she looks her age. She looks like she's in her mid-60s. And so the
great shape and everything. Like, she's got a nice figure, and they seem to have a really intimately active relationship. But it's like, it's weird. It's like seeing a grandma hanging out with her grandkid, and then find out that they're like a couple. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, are they gonna have birthday parties at McDonald's or what?
It is a little weird to watch them. There is, what's that called, the May to December romances, and of course we know about younger females and the older guys. But when we see a younger male and an older woman, why do we always think, oh, well, maybe she must got money, we
Well, I
think
think
something. We don't think positive stuff. What is that? Why do we go there, ladies? Tell me.
I feel this. It's the same way if it's a much older man and a younger woman.
Same.
It's
I mean,
funny.
I mean I still think that's gold digging. Like you immediately think that there's got to be something other than, maybe it's like they came back in a new body and they think there's some like spiritual soul connection, like reincarnation or something. I don't know.
It's weird. Teresa, what were you saying, babe?
I don't necessarily see it as gold digging because I have a very different definition of gold digging than what most people have. What I see it as is it's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? Let's be honest with it. Older dude gets with a younger girl because she's young and vivacious and blah 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 blah. He
Right.
wants to siphon some of that off of her. They say she keeps me young, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's the same way for this older woman who, when they said she was 61, I said, you a damn lie.
You were thinking, how old do you think she looked, Catrice?
Okay. Forgive me. I thought she was easy 81.
Yeah, she looked old. She looked much older.
Is what it is.
She's
I was
white.
like, you need some rose hip
White
oil,
chicks crap.
oil. You need all the oils on that skin at all times. And when they said he
She
was
used to bathe in coconut oil, for sure.
And for me, when they said like, oh, he's 23 and 26 and he's with her for money, I'm like, and because I'm gonna tell you right now, when I was younger, I would be like, oh, this is weird. I'd be like, oh, money doesn't fix everything. I don't need to date nobody with money. Catch me at 41. You're not making no money. We're not talking.
I love the
We
realness.
don't have nothing to talk about. We can't talk about investing in our future or nothing. Like, what are we doing here? So
Right.
when they were like, he's 20, 26, look, first of all, for me, that's part of reparations. Get that bag. Get that bag.
That's a part of recreation. Get that bag. You are stupid, Trees.
For me, whatever they do, don't make mine. Because one day I'm gonna be 81 and I'm gonna be like, I'm wearing this juicy couture sweatsuit. Somebody better come get some of this.
You better come get yourself some.
Look, I'm not gonna sit up in here and be like, oh, at 80, people at 61, 71, 81, 91 are still having sex. Why are we shaming these people? Let them get theirs. And if that 21-year-old or 26-year-old man is like, oh, I'm gonna be the one to do it, he is of sound mind and sound body. Whatever his objective is, he's still doing what she needs him to do. So let them do what they do.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. Yeah, I like what you said, though. Can come get you some. That's a really good point because you're right. In my opinion, you're right. Every people might, say, oh, that's disgusting. If they're consensual, they're of sound mind and body, and if they're not hurting nobody, my only thought, and this is where I went when I saw them, what if he wanted to have children and she couldn't have children with him?
They could adopt.
Yeah, it's interesting when we see that. It was more, visually, it's more striking. Now, here's a question. What if she didn't look like she was 61? Would we be like, oh, I can see why he liked this? Because I ain't gonna lie, I could pull a 20-something-year-old. I can pull him. Every now and then, I had this brother up in Philly. He came up to me, and my husband's in a jewelry store. doing what he do, taking care of me. And this young brother walked up to me and he said to me, you know what? I want to suck your big toe. It's out of the clear blue sky. He must have been all of 20 years old. And I said, boy, I got drawers older than you. If you don't get out of here, send me your daddy and get out of my face. And I was dying. But but you know, I think that the sexual compatibility between a younger boy, younger male, not boy, correction, male, legal age, and an older female, it works
Yeah.
because it's like 40, 50, and 20, because those hormones are kicking in, you know, you're perimenopausal, you know, you're like a 16-year-old boy on that's hormones are kicking. You are ready all the time. And here you have a young male that is also ready. And so those kinds of things that I could see that. So I am not surprised that there's this connection between this couple. What I was surprised about, and this is kind of vain, and I apologize, it was just the aesthetics. She did not look 61. Like Tree said, she looked like she's 81. And I think that's what threw me off, because he's a very attractive young male. And she's an attractive looking 61-year-old woman, 64-year-old woman. And I think that's what kind of threw me off. And that's kind of screwed up for me to say that, but I'm just going to keep it real. Y'all talk about me. Send me in some emails. Y'all going to cuss me out. It's okay. But come on, somebody, tell me what you think about that. I know I'm messed up in the head.
I don't think it's screwed up for you to even think that. We're human beings and we look at things visually. If
Yeah.
it don't match, it don't match. I'm sorry. Blue and green ain't blue and blue. It when you see it, and when you see the couple, your immediate reaction is like, whoa.
Yeah.
But think about I don't know, when did the plague happen? Whatever, older medieval times in Europe. Older dudes, 60, 70, or however they used to be, were marrying these very young people.
Right.
Young women, right? Like nobody fronts about that. Nobody fronts about that. But let it be an older man or older woman and a younger man. It's just like, ew, how can that happen? Stop playing, because I know when I get older, if I'm alone and my partner is not doing, I'm like, Tinder, grinder, let's go.
Let's go.
I feel like it's true if people are if they appear to be younger than they actually are, and maybe they behave younger, that we are more comfortable with that. Even if there's an age gap, like nobody cares if J-Lo is dating an 18-year-old.
Right, exactly. You know,
Because
so
it's J-Lo and she's like stunning, and so that's okay, right? Because it's visually beautiful in our imagery. It's still sexy and attractive.
exactly.
You still want to watch them or imagine them together.
Right. Yeah, you can see an attractive, a beautiful 81-year-old woman or 61-year-old woman with a young guy, and if she's beautiful, and you know, because we are creatures of we're visual people, and I think that makes a really good point, CC.
And
so listen, guys,
stereotype.
Yeah, it is a stereotype. You know, I hate to cut CC off because we're about to go another way with this conversation. I can feel it, but our time is almost up, isn't it, y'all? I hate that. Our hour goes so fast. We need more time to talk more trash about stuff because we have a lot to say. But listen, guys, thank you so much for listening. Cece, thanks for coming back and joining the show tonight. We hope you had fun.
I love being here, ladies. I love talking to you.
Awesome.
We enjoy you.
Absolutely. So, as always, beautiful people, make sure that you go to our YouTube channel, get our subscribers up, because we don't really push it hard, but go to YouTube. If you're not catching the show live, you'll see us, you know, every week on there. All of our channels are there. All of our shows are there. Go check it out, like and subscribe. And we're going to have a contest starting next month So make sure that you go and like and subscribe now to the YouTube channel so you can get the contest details, because you too may be a guest on Brown Sugar Confessions. And I am Dr. Val, and we are Brown Sugar Confessions. We love you guys so much. Make sure if you have any sexual concerns, you know how to reach out, Valerie at Swan Center. Make sure you reach out to me, Valerie at swancenter.com. We love you, only on Power 1017. And we are Brown Sugar Confessions. And good night. We'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.